Welcome back to another episode of the Randy Wilson Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Wilson. This is episode 105. Being brought to you today, being powered by the big homie DJ Lonnie B here at Spin 100 FM. Major shout outs to the city. Major shout outs to you. Thank you guys for tuning in to what we believe is Virginia's podcast for the culture, from the culture. Episode 105. Really happy today to be with my guest, Batman, CEO of Darknightent Ent. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into him. But before we get in too far, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you can follow this podcast everywhere podcasts are played. And we just can keep this journey going. I'm going to, in the great words of my brother Batman, we got work to do. Okay. And that's part of what inspired me today for this conversation. I'm on a little bit of a dip into 757 right now. And I dip in and out, and I've dipped in too many times. This is a way overdue conversation, and a conversation that I recently went back and checked in with one of his previous podcasts that he'd been on. It sparked it in me because of some of the conversations I'm getting ready to have. Batman let me just say this. His conversation, his detail, his intellect, is once we get into the conversation, if you're not familiar with him, then you'll quickly begin to see why he's a great conversation in himself. He's a community man. He's extremely deep invested and been in, like, when it comes to Virginia hip-hop scene for a long time. I made a post today. For those of you who are checking out or watching clips through Instagram, you can go see his bio, okay? You can become familiar with him, but like, his perspective in regard to when we talk about hip-hop and hip-hop culture and we talk about Virginia culture is going to be unlike 95% of the people you can talk to. And it's not going to be just because he's well-spoken, but it's because he has experience. He got his ankles deep in the game a long time ago, and he's just as relevant today and, quite frankly, more effective because of his experience than he's ever been before. So, I'll stop with all that. But I want to let y'all understand that this is a podcast for the conversation type person who's really going to be interested in diving deep into conversations. We're going to cover a lot of things. We're going to cover music, but we're going to cover community, and we're going to talk about climate and, So anyway, my brother, thank you for being on the show.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me. Real quick, while we're super early on, I want to make sure my sound is good, that I sound clear because I have AirPods in, and, just want to make sure the technology is functioning the way that it needs to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Cool.
Professional. He's going to make sure.
Yeah.
Because you need to hear him. You need to hear what he has to say. And, bro, I want to just go right on in, man. I want to go right on in. While attention is fresh.
That's good.
Before I get into my questions, I want to immediately know, what are the things that are on your surface right now, that you want to get off immediately? Because you know how it is. You got to get people's attention early. And I want to hear from you, like, right now, what's important to you? Because a lot of the posts that you've been putting out lately, you're doing a lot of things. You always doing a lot of things, but like, a lot of things that you're doing, our consumers, and I'm saying our consumers because a lot of people are familiar with you and I from a music standpoint, but there's much. Randy Wilson podcast covers more than the exterior. So the interior, in regard to what's, driving revenue, keeping you busy, keeping you, from meeting to meeting. Let's talk about what you got going on right now.
Yeah. So, the first thing is I just became the new Hampton Roads organizer for the Chesapeake Climate Action Network. I've literally been in that position. I just got an email, I think Monday, for 90 days. So what CCAN is what it's referred to, it's an environmental grassroots organization. And so we fight, we organize, we speak out on environmental issues and how they impact this area from Maryland to DC to Virginia. So, if you're not aware, in the 757 specifically in different parts, it floods pretty, regularly. You know what I'm saying? And so how does that impact people's commute, right? How does that impact you know, if there was another hurricane to hit, because you know they say that if there was another area teed up to be, you know, disturbed or, you know, destroyed, or, you know, things were to happen badly the way that happened in Katrina, it would be Hampton Roads. I
Mm.
don't know if everybody knows that, so I want to start at the top of the show by saying that. So, but you know, on the everyday thing, again, um, flooding and flood mitigation is super important to me because this is something that impacts everybody down here. You know, just, you know, runoff water, you know what I'm saying? Like things that get in your water, like pipeline expansion. Why are we still even talking about natural gas when it's clear that there's offshore wind turbines, there are renewable energy sources such as you know, solar, right? But electric, like they have a fleet of I think 6 electric buses down here, and so why wouldn't the whole fleet be electric? Like if you have the data that shows that it's good, let's just go ahead and accelerate this process and make the entire fleet electric. Like things like that. You know what I'm saying? And here's the other reason for that. So it's everything I said, but also understanding that environmental issues impact the Black and Brown community disproportionately. So I'm always reticent of that. But a lot of things do. From when I was doing voter registration with the HipHop Caucus, as well as with the League of Conservation Voters, um, so many different things impact our community disproportionately that the environment is definitely something like, you know, you like me, I know, want to make sure that we safeguard our planet and make sure we have something to leave to them. But if we know in real time that it affects our communities in a different kind of way, that's more of a reason for us to be in these conversations, because Black and Brown people aren't always in the rooms when the decisions on funding and education and all that are happening. And so I take this position super serious. In addition to the music stuff, I think it's equally important. And so I'm going to fight for it as much as I do anything that happens on the music scene, because to me, it's all intertwined.
Hmm. You know that,
So, you know,
and I want to segue there to let the audience understand and know that we don't just, you know, when I'm thinking about having a conversation, like this conversation was long overdue for a lot of things.
mhm,
We're going to talk because a lot of, you know, the music is a big part of our culture, and we'll talk about that. But
absolutely.
our next interview is with Minority Leader of the House of Delegates, Don Scott,
Mhm.
delegate of Petersburg. Uh, let's give him a round. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I want to bridge. I like bridging my conversation. There's layers to this because if I talk to you and we talk about community, culture, hip hop, and then I bring his conversation into the mix, I
Mhm.
connect dots. I connect political dots. I connect community dots, and it all contributes to improving society, health, world. It's like it's relevant. So like
Yeah,
that's what I want to show. You know, I'm talking, and I'm directing this message to the 757 intentionally because this is intentional conversation. My
yeah,
conversations are intentional, but intentionally because you can have brothers working on both sides of the fence, whether it's politics, community. It really shouldn't be two fences. It shouldn't be a fence. We should be able
mm-mm,
to cover the whole ground and cover the whole area and bring two complementary minds together, two complementary perspectives, so that the light can be there while we're paying attention to that focus. You know what I'm saying? That party community.
listen, that's my entire philosophy. Um, with what you're saying, everything I do is intentional. I think you know that about me. I don't do anything on accident, literally anything. And so for me to still operate Dark Knight and do music marketing and artist development and all these things, as you know I do, and
Mhm.
then to also have this position on the other side where I am regularly talking about environmental issues. I was at a joint subcommittee meeting with elected officials 2 weeks ago. I've spoken to the mayor of Virginia Beach, Bobby Dyer, a couple of times in the past month and a half. I've been in a room, a heavily Republican room with Glenn Youngkin, the current governor. Right, I've talked to Andrea McClellan and Jackie Glass and all these elected officials in our area, Congressman Bobby Scott, Senator Tim Kaine. This has all happened again in 90 days. So I'm very intentional with one, doing a good job by my organization, but also understanding as a leader in the music space, on it, you know, from the Democratic Party and Democratic room, a lot of them know me as Batman. You know what I'm saying? And you know, some of them know me as Charles from CCAN, but most of them probably know me as Batman from the music stuff, but they know me from Batman doing the music stuff because of maybe the voter registration stuff I've done, or when I was working with the HipHop Caucus, or because of the music stuff I'd done, and I was in whatever room because I've had influence, and they would just want me in the room as somebody who has influence over, you know, or with that demo, right? And that's why I was invited in the room in the first place. And so I'm clear that because these issues impact our community, we're all going to have to start figuring out how to be in all the rooms, in all the conversations. They're talking about serious funding for environmental issues, but we just really got there. Regularly in city council meetings and all these kind of things where people are complaining, the city's doing this, city's doing that. I can't believe they did that. They have a bunch of meetings before that. Things get brought up first. People lobby for them in different ways. Things are voted on. And if you are opposed to it and you weren't at the meeting, or you weren't out speaking about on it in some kind of way to make them change their mind on stuff, stuff is getting passed, stuff is getting funded. And environmentally, that's coal plant goes here, or funding goes over there for redevelopment, but not over here to where we may really need it in our community. So you got to understand how everything ties in. So you can't be speaking up loud about this, but not want to have the information about that. Like, people make their voting a lifestyle. Whether they agree with the candidates or not, on that other side, they voting every time. They don't have to be talked into it or nothing. They just in the line. So every year Virginia has elections. They in the line every time voting for their families, their communities, or whatever. Right? And I'm not talking about nobody specific. I'm just saying some people vote as a lifestyle, and sometimes with us, right, in our communities, we vote every 4 years, or, you know what I'm saying, every couple of years or whatever. But by the time you do that and you look up and see what's going on, stuff that you didn't want to happen already got voted on. So we got to be really clear on the fights that we taking on and understand the repercussions of doing something versus not doing something. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at. So I'm going to do what I need to do as a leader in the music space, and do what I need to do as somebody who is in the environmental space, but also, you know, as abreast as I can be of issues happening in the political realms as well. Like, it's so much going on. This ain't the time for anybody to be lackadaisical, to be lazy, to not, you know, be, you know, doing things, for them to be doing things in an intentional way. We got to all really start putting this stuff into, again, our lifestyle. Voting should be a lifestyle thing. But voting by itself without holding those people that you voted into office accountable doesn't work either, because some people can get in office and lose their way, be compromised or whatever. So we need to, I like what they stand for, but when they get in office, make sure they doing what they said they was going to do when they wanted our vote too. Yeah, so it's all connected, bro. Like,
sounds like a recent message we heard from Clovia Lawrence, who's really big on voters' rights, voters' registration here in the city of Richmond. But I mean, you know, for those who are not familiar with Batman, if you ain't got your attention, if he didn't capture your attention right there and quickly just bringing you in to listen and understand, I mean, that's part of what part of this platform is really about. That, you know, figuring out the way to massage information into those people who need to receive it through, you know, through a medium that can do that on multiple levels. High-end level as well as a weed level. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And you represent.
And I'm not, and you know, and not to interrupt you, bro, and I'm not compromised. I'm not doing none of this to run for office in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. None of that. I never want to run for office. You know, like, this is being recorded, so I want that to be clear.
Yeah, that was my everything next question. I'm doing. That was my next question.
No, listen. Everything I'm doing is because that's in my heart. I am from Hampton, Virginia. I don't want to run for no elected office because, you know, we've seen it. It's so prevalent. You even see it in TV and movies now. Sometimes when people run for office, you know, there are backdoor deals that need to happen for a bill to get whatever. But for this deal to happen, this other deal got to happen or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or, you know, somebody's holding something over your head. Or when you're running for office, somebody playing in your past, trying to bring up stuff so you don't win. And you know what I'm saying? Like, where'd this money come from to fund this? And like, I want this bill to pass. And you know, you seen in Portsmouth, the city council, like, everybody was arguing on the thing, and that was national news. Like, I'm not for none of that. I feel like I'm most effective, again, just leveraging one off the other. I'm in these political rooms, these environmental nonprofit rooms, but I'm also in all the music conversations and rooms too. I feel like I'm best when I'm in the middle, figuring out how they correlate and how I can leverage one off the other. And I don't mean leverage in a bad way, like I'm using anybody. I mean leverage like, how can I use what I know on the political and nonprofit side to help my music friends, the music scene? And how can I use the music scene and that energy to tell them how to message better? Because there's definitely a disconnect between the two.
Yeah.
And so when go ahead.
The music is the soundtrack to the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I want to pivot because, you know, I was talking to my buddy before the show. We got some shows planned up, and talking to him like, what makes a good conversation? And people need to understand that a good conversation, particularly in regard to how you guys consume content, you consume content based off the pieces. And so I like everything I put out there to be pieced in a way where if y'all want this, I can feed you that. You want a spoon, I spoon you this. You want a fork, I cut you. You know, you want a knife.
So listen, so I got you right now, because I actually was about to say that. I know this medium, right? And I know you need that. So I'm gonna give you something right now. I'm gonna give you an exclusive that I hadn't said publicly yet. You ready?
Exclusive. We need that.
Exclusive. So this is on the music side. Everybody ready? Okay, cool. What I'm doing right now is I am putting together the thing that everybody whispers about, which is the 757 movers and shakers meeting, meaning the elite. I'm trying to get the people that you know, I'm not even going to say no names, but the people I've had the conversations with already know. The conversation has always been, yo, if we could all just get in a room and figure it out and get on the same page, we could move the Virginia music scene forward, right? And so I'm not trying to take on the whole entire state of Virginia at one time, but what I can do is start with home. So I figure, and this is my plan, if I can get everybody in the room, and I mean everybody, like the ecosystem of the music scene, in the 757, meaning radio and the OG, you know, rappers, producers, whoever, right? Media, whether it be, podcasters, people who have, their own websites, all that kind of stuff, the DJs, the promoters, the venue owners, right? As well as songwriters and producers. If I can close that gap, and upcoming artists too. So I got to have the OGs, but I need the new school because that's who's going to benefit. If I can have all these pieces in the entire ecosystem, and I get the cream of the crop, and this is not to discount anybody, but we have to get our house in order first. If I can get that cream of the crop in the room first, have a productive conversation, make sure that everybody's on the same page about wanting to move us forward and what can be done. Not a comprehensive plan that I need anybody to sign on to, nor do I want to be the leader, but just to facilitate this meeting. We can move in a productive manner with next steps and also have a follow-up conversation where it's a bigger room where we can get more ideas, right? More energy to tweak, because it's not going to be perfect. I'm not trying to do a perfect plan because I'll be judged as so. I'm going to be judged anyway, but it's not about that. If those who came before me, for whatever reason, weren't able to do this, get all these important people in the room, and I know the people behind me are waiting for that energy, and I have the influence and respect right now to do it, why would I not do it? Because that's all I ever wanted, was for our music scene as Virginia to be respected the way it needs to. So many important people come from our area, but the music industry don't even know some of these people are from the 757. And that's not right, and I don't like that. Especially somebody who worked for a major record label. Some of my homies know everybody who's from here. A lot of them don't know. They might know this person or that person, but there's so much talent that comes not only from the 75, but from the 804. Talked to somebody else, the other day from the 703. Like, yo, we got talent in an abundance of it. So part of this is controlling our own narrative. I say that a lot. Controlling our own narrative. So I want to use whatever influence people, have given me, or the respect that people have for me, to do something good with it. Put all these people in a room. Hey, the first goal, get everybody in the room. Second goal, everybody look around. Everybody in this room does something, and we're all winning in spite of everybody else. Let's do something different. Let's make sure we all have each other's contact and start a productive conversation. We're probably not going to finish tonight, but that's not the goal. The goal is just to be on the same accord, and then to move forward again with next steps, i.e. a music conference next year. Already been spoken about with one of the radio stations. I won't say the name, right? But things have already been talked about past the meeting already. So I want to put that out. People are working on y'all behalf now, and I'm really talking to independent artists who are frustrated. I know we have to start being really proactive. So to alleviate all the pressure being on Pharrell and Something in the Water. That's one thing that everybody feels really, really, really good about. But when it's not happening, then everybody doesn't feel as good, right? We can't put all the pressure on Pusha with Airwave Music Group because that's one independent funded record label. We need more independent record labels. We need more big platforms. And again, the pressure can't just be on those two gentlemen, right? We need a bunch of things happening throughout the year. We need to proactively create a culture. And so it's more evenly balanced, not too much on one person, whether it's the OGs or the young people trying to create their things. So, you know, we beget talent, we cultivate, we curate talent more like a, now that's the Atlanta comparison people want to make. They just say, they broad stroke it and say, Atlanta, we want to be like Atlanta just, you know, you can just go down there.
I got a
question.
Go
ahead. Yep.
So a pushback, not really a pushback, just more or less for you to take it in another direction. For some of those OGs, for some of those people who you know, who are operating 40% off ego and status, and you know, because you know, it's just a reality.
Yeah.
What's the incentive? What do you pitch as the incentive for them to want to show up? All right, so one, show up. Two, because I mean, you may get them to show up. How do you get them to come back again when they don't, if they're not passionate about the contribution, and if they're not getting anything in return from their perspective? How do you get it? How do you do that?
Right. So here's maybe where you want to clip this up, right? And so again, if the first goal is to get everybody in the room, free will applies. I can't make any of them do anything they don't want to do past getting them in this room. What I can promise you is, whatever happens past this room, we're going to continue and move this forward with whoever decides to be a part of this. What I'm doing is offering the opportunity to level the playing field back out, right? I've heard OG say, I helped this person, I've got burned. So I understand that, right? You will be jaded and may not want to help as much if you feel like they're not going to listen to me back or whatever. And I'm not saying all of them say that, but I've heard certain people say that. And I understand when they broke it down to me what happened. Because sometimes that happens. You help somebody and the energy is not reciprocated when they get on or whatever. So I get that. Because I've heard DJs say the same thing, right? But at the same time, I've heard artists say, yo, I really need the assistance of an OG. I would love a mentor. I see videos and articles, this and the third. This person had a mentor. This person had this lookout or whatever. And yo, like we got them here. Why wouldn't they? I'm in such a space to where I hear how everybody feels about whatever, and so this is just the opportunity to put them all in the same room for that. What they do past again this meeting, hey, I can't make them do whatever. But again, what I can promise you is if they decide they don't want to come back or they don't want to help, no harm, no foul. We're going to move forward. That's the whole goal. We're going to move this forward one way or the other.
Yo, man. That's the thing I respect about you the most. And I, as I become familiar with you and truthfully just became like, you know, I think when Batman speaks, people listen. It's easy to kind of get absorbed into the conversation. That's kind of the thing that was the most inspiring. You are not, you're committed to work. I think you're motivated by work. I don't think you'd be, if you didn't have anything to do, like, I mean, I don't know. You don't seem like you'd be inspired based off being content with not having, like, most people would be happy if they didn't have a lot to do. I feel like you are the type of person who needs to try to find work to do even after work is done. I don't, like, I'm curious if you enjoy peace and quiet and relax at all. Like,
yes, but I think I probably enjoy peace and, well, listen, it's extreme. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm a workaholic by nature, but it goes the other way. If I know I'm looking forward to a vacation, I'll bust my ass until the vacation comes. And it'll be hard to pull me out the vacation because I love resting and relaxing. So it's like, it ain't really no balance for me. It's either I'm going all in or I want to be totally relaxed and I don't want nothing on my plate. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really a lot of wiggle room except for the spaces where I'm ramping back up or ramping down to go on a vacation. So I just have an analytical mind. And again, you're talking to somebody who started as an intern on a street team. I started at the very bottom, no black book with no, you know, nobody's number in it, nothing. I started from passing out flyers and putting up posters in all kinds of weather for free for like years. What they would do in New York for 6 months and get an A&R job, I still ain't got an A&R job off of that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I must have wanted to really do this. So it was cool with me taking all that time because it gave me time to figure out the landscape of Virginia, but also it motivated me. It has to be more than just being a street team person. Oh, okay. They make the decisions. By the time the posters and flyers get to me, all the marketing decisions have been made in New York. I want to do marketing because I feel like I'm smart enough to do that. That's how the transition to marketing even comes into play. So it's not that I'm necessarily looking for work. I'm always looking for a way to solve problems with, solutions. So I'm solution based, bro.
Yeah, that you are for sure, man. Just curious, when you're bringing those people together, uh, are you bringing in the industry names of folks that people want to be at the table? I mean, the invitation's there. Is the invitation there to the industry leaders of the area? Like, is there, what do they play a position? Do they come to the table? Do they get an invite? Do you work that harder? I mean, how do you approach that? I mean, the question is, will Pusha T be there? Will Pharrell be there? Can you pull a Young Money?
Oh, got you.
Will a Young Money Yon be interested in that conversation? Like, will he be interested in being in that meeting? I mean,
so let me say it like this. I have everybody's number that needs to be in the room. With the exception of, if I'm being honest, I'll be honest, I don't care. I don't have Pharrell's direct number. I don't have Missy or Timbaland's direct number. I don't have Chad's direct number. But I know I'm in 6 degrees of separation. I can make 2 phone calls and get in contact with any of them, at least through a message, all of them. Mm-hmm. So the invite will be on the table. I will send envoys, right, to make sure that there's a message passed in some form or facet for them to be at the table. But I don't necessarily need them to be at the table as long as they get the message. They may not be able to attend. Yeah. I'm not going to hold them at fault for that. Yeah. But does the message get to them and back, right, with the information on how we trying to move? That's all I care about. But can I get certain people at the table who are high names, who are platinum producers, platinum artists and all that? Yes. A lot of the people that you would think that are from the 757, I got their numbers already, bro. I can get them in this room. Yeah. So I'm not going to get 100% of the people. Just off of my relationships and my contacts, I can get 85 to 90% of the people that you would name, for sure.
Yeah, respect, man. I want to see it. I'm happy to champion it and celebrate it. And once y'all take her home, take an invitation to be a part of it, quite frankly, because
well, listen, 2 things. One, you will see it because there will be a dedicated photographer, videographer there to document this. Mm-hmm. We need to be clear that Virginia music history will be made, and Virginia music history is also just music history. Let's be super clear. When you start saying names like the Skills, the Binks, the Knots, the this person and that person, we got songwriters and producers who are, I feel, uplifting and holding up the music industry right now. And really, I think our music heroes have been holding up the music industry for the past 30, 40 years. I think if everybody sits down and thinks about it, yeah. And then if you talk about just culture, remember our sports athletes, we got the Mike Vicks, the Tyrod Taylors, and the Allen Iversons, like Pernell Whitakers, all of that. So we touch in a lot of different lanes for pop culture too, not even just music. So like, I just don't like this thing of, this person, this reason gets they sign, this reason gets they sign or whatever. And it's almost like we already had our sign in the 90s or whatever. And like, it's just not coming back to us. When we know day in, day out, year in, year out, y'all are pilfering our talent. The best of the best in these secret rooms when they doing songwriting camps and, they flying a producer in for whoever's album that's, about to chart top 10 and all that. A lot of them people coming from Virginia, bro. And executives and A&Rs I know from labels and stuff, they know what Virginia got, bro. They know. But the music industry at large, that's the problem. The music industry at large will not say, really, Virginia's the one we really need to be watching. They're not going to say that. You know why? This is my personal opinion. If they say it out loud, just like with the stock market, our stock instantly raises. That means you can't, inquire with this young man who's a producer or this young lady who's an artist and give them whatever price and they're going to be happy because they're going to, think of it as an opportunity. You got to pay them what they worth, and we all know what we worth. You understand what I'm saying? Mm. That's how I view it. So as long as they keep doing it like they doing it, they cherry picking talent. I'm going to get this producer. Hey, man, I think you're dope. I'm going to fly you out here and let's do this together. Oh, man, what an opportunity. Let me do it. But we all know it's an abundance of talent here. It would be hard to do that if this person gets signed, this person gets signed, this person get a record that chart because they did it with Beyonce, whoever else, and then this person win this, this rap battle. This person get this branding deal in 6 months. That's all it would take for everybody to be like, this ain't no fluke. They got a bunch of talent. The abundance of talent always been here. So let's not act like, you know what I'm saying?
For us to mimic though, and I've listened to you talk about it before, but for us to mimic, I'm tired of even saying Atlanta. I hate it. But or Houston or wherever, like, basically what's happened is this. We have to move from a regional perspective. And that's I tend to think that's part of the division. I don't want to stay on it too long because it don't really get you anywhere, but I think that's part of the division, is that we got to move regionally. We got to move as a state. We can't just move as a city.
Absolutely.
All the time when I'm talking to folks from a marketing, from a branding standpoint, for those of you who are really engaged in this conversation and understand how you're trying to move yourself as an artist through your city, you much stronger when you put the state on your back and you move or you put a region on your back. I'm not saying you can carry it or lift it, but understand that it's bigger than your surrounding area in your county when you speak about Virginia, because Virginia is bigger than what in this music, in this music space that we live in.
Right.
And I think that's part of the challenge. We're not in a place yet, in my opinion, where we're moving regionally. And quite frankly, I feel like, when I say regionally, moving as a state would be great, but I think as we bridge, even with North Carolina, as we bridge, like I said, with we're in a great place. We can bridge south and we can bridge north. We just got to bridge. Yeah. We just got to bridge.
Right. Well, listen, I'll say this. I always say that everything is a microcosm of everything else. So I agree with your point that we have to start moving as a state and really as a region. What I will say is, even with what I'm planning, the 757 meeting is not to say the 757 is what it is and forget everything else. Even within that plan, I've been so intentional that, one, photographer, videographer, the document, right? Two, to have a small contingent of elected officials. So if there are programs and funding that they can alert us to that we're not aware of, they can pitch in that way, like take the baton and help bring the information back so we can do that. I also want a small contingent from the 804 and the 703 so they can see what we're doing, take that information back to, y'all areas, and y'all do the same thing. So at some point, maybe we can do an all Virginia one. Maybe we don't, maybe we do. But this has never been a 757 versus everybody thing. I don't want to do a whole Virginia thing. I feel like I want to make it more manageable. So it's always been, let me just start where I'm at and then bring, invite 4 or 5 people from the 804 to see how, just a reference point for how you can do it. Not even to replicate it, of just how you can do it. And if, y'all want to do it a different way or whatever, cool. If you do it the same way, cool. The objective is still the same, for us to get on some sort of an accord as far as just moving in the same direction, right? Past that, I do agree with Made in DMV has said it, and I've been to the conferences up there or whatever. People outside of Virginia look at the entire area as DMV. So from a business financial standpoint, until we control our narrative, which I'm saying again, meaning Virginia, telling our stories in a way visually, so where the world can see what Virginia is about and understand that DC and Maryland are so far away from us that we don't always connect the two, even though DMV is an area and we are the DMV. The 757 is so far down, right, that we don't, like, DC is 3 hours from us. So although, yes, DMV for business purposes, which is how it was explained to me, I'm not opposed to referring to the entire area as the DMV. Within that, stories can still be told of Virginia, just like stories in a narrative should be told of DC. Same thing with Maryland. So all I'm saying is, let's start on the path to, again, the broad stroke being controlling our narrative, not waiting for anybody to save us, not waiting for anybody to give us a helping hand, understanding that if somebody was really going to do it, they would have already done it. And if we have the influence to do it now, let's at least make the attempt now. That's all I'm saying.
You basically, you creating your own stage.
That's it.
Creating your own
And
stage.
it's not about me or my company. It's about, I know I just have the relationship. So I'm not playing the leader. I'm playing a facilitator.
Well,
once we get in this room and I say that part, whatever happens, happens. But I at least want to, retire at some point knowing that I gave it an effort to get all of these great people, these great minds in the same room to move our area forward in a positive direction. That's it.
Hip hop, if hip hop had a government, if hip hop was a government, what would your position be?
In my position?
In the hip hop government. Now listen. I mean, it could be local government politics, it could be state government politics, but on behalf of Virginia, at minimum, would you be a board of supervisor? Would you be a delegate? Would you be a mayor? Would you be a congressman? Would you be the governor? What would be your position?
I think I have enough relationships between all of the markets that I should at least be representing in somehow. So whether that be a senator or a delegate or whatever, I think I would comfortably take that on. You know what I'm saying?
I like talking about hip hop. I like it when we put hip hop in the perspective of politics, because quite frankly,
we should.
We have our own party.
We should. Listen, and let me give you this analogy, and you tell me if you've heard this before, but I just started saying this a couple years ago. So, but I truly believe in this, right? The same thing that you have to do as somebody running for office, right, to be the president of the United States, is the same trajectory to be the next hot R&B or hip hop star. It's still a campaign. You still need your team, which is a campaign staff, and you still got to perform your records, which are your speeches, and you got to make that loop around the United States until you're known nationwide.
Real. And that's so real.
But again, I only know that because I'm on both sides of the fence. I'm in the music space and I'm in the political, nonprofit, environmental space. I only know that because I've been on both sides, bro.
And that's so real, man. And that's so. I was very fortunate last week to have a meeting with Rock Nation. Just a brand, and you know how life happens. Like not a planned meeting, no strategy. Like I just happened to end up being in New York, getting a call. Someone says, "I see you in the city. Come to the office." And I'm like, and I ain't told nobody the story. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna come to the office. And where I thought they worked, they no longer worked. They just said, come to 540 West 26th Street.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming. I don't know. I'm like, all right. And then I show up and I'm like, this is where you work? I didn't know you worked. You know what I'm saying? That's how life happened, right? But it was a reminder, you know what I'm saying, when you're looking, and I share this with the person, the being, the artist, whatever role, and however you choose to describe yourself.
Yeah.
Man, I'm getting at an age in life where I'm beginning to now learn the things that I wish I knew when I was younger. And at this age, I'm still realizing how I personally chose to maneuver and navigate through life. I come from basketball, but in life, I operate more as like an athlete in the business world. I will operate alone. I'm not operating in a team sport. I'm an independent person. I'm out here just moving. When you see me, you see me. You just see me. When you see this podcast, you see two people. And that's the problem. I recognize how important it is to have a team of people around and be continuing to be intentional about building that team, whether it's interns, whether it's lights, whether it's camera, regardless, it's action. You need to continue to put people around you. So for young people, who understand that, your ability to be a professional athlete, a professional whatever, is going to contribute to like how well you stabilize yourself with a foundation of compatible minds that can help you push, and everyone can come to an agreement on how to push the mission. And that's my goal for Virginia. My goal for Virginia, from a hip hop standpoint, from a music culture standpoint, is that we don't only move as a city, but we move as a region, we move as a state. And quite frankly, in those meetings you have, at some point you're going to get to a conversation, and it may be down the road. It may be the third or fourth meeting, but at some point, someone has to plant the seed to say, you know what? These artists particularly these younger artists who are the future, they have to be a priority and a focus in this strategy. These OG artists, for now and forever, there has to be intentional strategy, because in order to move the state, we got to get behind. We got to identify leaders of people that we can get behind that can help trailblaze that we can open up the door for other artists, the other sounds. You follow where I'm going with that?
Yes. Now here will be my pushback, because I've heard this before of we need to get behind certain artists. But then what I would say is that's relative, because it's like who to say who we should be putting our energy towards. That's when you get, and I don't know if we would ever get there, because most people, as you know, have an artist that they're personally championing or backing, right? So instead of me putting somebody in a situation where I'm saying, those are the 5 artists that we need to get behind, let's just focus on them. If they secretly not trying to get behind none of them, I'm never going to get their energy or their resources. So what I'm trying to do is just plug in the holes, just make sure that everybody's connected, and make sure that there is, again, a foundation of just respect and forward direction versus telling them what to do. I'm already going to be in a room of alpha personalities, male and female, who got their own stuff going on.
I'm with you on that, but what I'm saying, within the government, but within the hip hop government, you said you got the young artists and you got the OGs and you got the executives. So what I'm saying is that what happens is a board forms.
Yeah.
And so it's not like one person or the other is saying, these are the 5 people we got to get behind. It really becomes an agreed upon decision that this is the wave. This is the, I mean, that's what I'm saying. And when you determine what the wave is, that sets the direction. That sets a direction. Now, it doesn't mean that the wind don't blow. It doesn't mean that, things can change. But, and I think we saw that. I mean, I think we've seen that happen at times. I think early on, and just to, kind of move the conversation, because I got to get over to Dark Knight. But to move the conversation, I think when Airwave first started and they signed Kyrie
1K.
Yeah, when they signed him, they said, "Hey, this is our first artist. We got the Rondo. I forget his name. But we got this collaboration. You know what I'm saying? We that was an example.
Yeah.
And then you started seeing a wave in Petersburg of artists, and you started seeing that. And that was an example on a level. On a level, which quite frankly, I'm not going to try to say I'm not trying to status it, because there was a level that everybody jumped to the wave of trying to see what's up with Airwave, what's up with this. Like it counted. So I feel like what you're on, I think that was kind of like, look, it's crumbs and a loaf of bread. There's crumbs and a loaf of bread. And what you're building upon, let's just take it back, is to like, you've never seen it, but it's pieces of what you've seen that worked. And you're just trying to organize and bring it together and say, hey, let's do something that we've never done. We've seen this. We've seen all these crumbs, but we've never seen it packaged in one loaf of bread.
Yeah, a lot of it is, I'm saying it again, controlling the narrative, right? Making sure that people are able to easily identify, this is what Virginia is. We don't have enough examples to the world, is what I'm saying, of literally answering that question. This is what Virginia is. When you think of New York, there's so many examples, from music to TV to artists to film, like all that stuff that you can say, I have enough examples of what New York is to have a consensus or collage in my mind of a representation of New York. We don't have enough of that happening to where you can clearly understand what Virginia is. That's why we get lumped into the DMV. So we almost don't have an identity. We're just part of this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we should be a part of the DMV, but there's nothing wrong within the DMV, Virginia being clearly defined to the rest of the world on what we provide to the culture globally. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If we don't tell our story correctly to the world, we leave a lot of gray area for somebody else to tell it for us. All I'm saying, bro.
Yo, when you turn 50, when you turn 50, 55.
You
don't think you'll ever go politics? You don't ever see that? You don't think it could change? You continue to grow, bro. Don't never say never. Because
What made you just say that? It's something I just said that made you say that.
I'm gonna say that because when you speak, you have the ability to capture the attention of the audience of 15 to our grandparents. So you can capture that young voter, the person who's gonna vote, who's going to vote. You can capture the person who's just old enough to vote, and have enough respect for our parents and our grandparents' generation to say that young brother could be a leader for our future community. In a way, that he's not just at the table, he's not just in the rooms, but damn it, like his decision matters over the vote. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think what you're referring to is my ability to understand that, one, because I do marketing, everything I do is not only intentional, like we've said that word 4 or 5 times, right? Intention is so important. Energy and the creation of energy around a thing to make it important, to make it exciting is a thing unto itself, right? Marketing is storytelling. So because I live in that world, I understand how to, I hope I understand how to do that job effectively enough that you're supposed to be explaining it in a way that everybody can understand, but also getting your point across and making it compelling at some point too.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure the energy you feel is just my authenticity, but my ability to make a point is the storytelling aspect of marketing or whatever. So that just comes out of my pores because that's what I have to do for my clients. So I can't tell them to do something I can't do myself is really what you hearing. You feel me?
Yo, you're really good at it, man. You're really good. I'm gonna use that as a segue, and I'm gonna kind of get it because from a time standpoint, I want to get into rapid fire questions, like quick responses, because I want to get, again, no prep here, all impulsive. We could do this. I can do this with you forever, all day.
Let's get it.
You know what I'm saying? Get it. But I want to get some rapid.
I'm here to serve, bro. I'm here to serve. Let's get it.
I want to get some things off here. Let's just go right into Dark Knight. From a Dark Knight standpoint, it looks like Tyler Donovan has been an artist that you've had some very focused involvement with. What is that relationship? Just go into that.
Yeah, so Tyler Donovan is like, that's a partnership, right? And so yes, he's a client, but Tyler Donovan is more so, again, a partnership. So that is somebody who I just kept seeing perform, down here, obviously in the 757. Shout out to Stafford, where he's from. Knowing that
he's from Stafford?
He's from Stafford, Virginia. Yeah. Okay. So I just talked to Neek from Lovelace, and Neek, he said, yo, like, I used to manage Tyler, like, Stafford, Virginia, all of that. I was like, okay. But I know that from Tyler that he's from Stafford. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, he came down here, I think, because of school, ODU, if I'm not mistaken, is what he told me. So, like, he's very ingrained, obviously, down here, and everybody rocks with Tyler, and great live performer, great, lyricist and all of that. I kept seeing him at live shows, and I kept pulling him to the side, like, yo, you should tell your team to do this, this, and this, and you'll be good. And then every time he would be like, yo, Bet, I don't have a team. And I'd be like, okay, Tyler, see you later, like, very matter-of-factly. So the third time, it was like, yo, Bet, I told you, I don't have a team. I was like, wait, you don't have a team? Wait a minute, you don't have a team? So Tyler is like, if I didn't stand next to him knowing that he was that talented and I didn't support him with what I know the best way I could, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, kind of thing.
I got
so you. I kind of feel like Chance and his first manager, like, this is a partnership. I'm gonna help translate what this guy is doing so the world can understand, because he has a message that's important. He's a good person, church going, whatever, but don't ever get it twisted. He's a writer. His pen is very, very much to be respected. And his lyricism is, I think, second to none. As somebody who had, that surgery on his spine and all that kind of stuff, to be as dope of a live performer, to be sitting down as he is, I hadn't seen many people standing up that perform as good as Tyler, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna back that kid, for as long as he will allow me to, because I think he has a global talent, and I want to do everything in my power to help him on that level. That's all.
Dope, man. Are you still working with Terrell online?
The answer is no. Let's just be, No, I haven't spoke out publicly. You know, the thing with me is when I stop working with somebody, I just stop talking about them. You know what I'm saying? And if we being 100% honest, I think, you know, that's why me and you hadn't talked in so long, right? And I don't know if you remember, but you made a comment, and this will probably be clippable, right? You made a
I don't
comment.
care. No clips, no clips.
Okay, yeah, no, it's all good. Like you made a comment, yo, I don't see that working, and for me, it was almost like you were questioning my judgment, if I'm being honest with you. And so I'm like, I wonder why he would say that if I'm really good at what I do. And so I didn't take it as a challenge. That's not what I'm saying, but it's like it was almost like I can't believe I still have to like do this where I would even be questioned on a certain level. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and it's gonna work because if he's talented on any level, we're gonna be able to make it work on whatever level. So the thing is, we got Terrell to a point to where he's booking shows. We got him on a tour with Peter's son and all that kind of stuff. He opened his store. He was very successful with his clothing and all that kind of stuff. And like then things started getting funny real quick. The thing is, this is a pattern. This has happened between me and Terrell before. The last time me and him worked together was when, he was, very early on, like starting out. And I helped him get to a certain point to where, records and radio rotation, he's booking gigs in and out the city. And then for whatever reason, what I bring to the table, what my team brings to the table, was not respected the way it probably should have been. And so I kind of saw the signs when the phone call started diminishing, if I'm being honest, right? And again, this is nothing I would publicly say normally. But I'm not bashing them, so I don't, see there's a problem. Like, yeah,
this is
yeah. I mean, this is really just what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm cool with it. So like I think he felt like he could continue the journey on without me and my team or whatever. And so, and certain members of my team were helping him at the same time. So it's like there's already a conflict there. Like I was so gung ho for Terrell that Dark Knight members also became Red Cup Gang members, which means they were Dark Knight and Red Cup Gang at the same time. So if he doesn't want to move forward with me, that means some people who are Dark Knight are gonna ride and still be Red Cup. And I don't really even know how that happens if you meet him through me, but I'm not mad at all, right? So he's going on his path. I'm gonna continue on. I mean, you see how I move. I've been out here for 19 years. Next year's the 20th anniversary of Dark Knight. As you said yourself, I'm as relevant and as I've ever been. But that's only because of the people that I surround myself with. And I'm gonna continue moving forward because this is a greater purpose than just me. It's about my team and making sure they not only get paid for being good at what they do, but providing value to our clients and to our community and our culture. That's it.
I want to stay on it for one more minute though, because we never talked about this, and
I get it.
And what better time to talk about it? So I'm curious, and because my music background, my music history involvement is way deeper than a person knows without having a conversation. As far as the things I've done. I'll talk about that when someone interviews me, But my question to you is, when I said to you that I know what I meant, I know what at least my intention was. I'm curious of what you took away from when I told you that that's not going to work, and I'm curious of what you took from that.
Yeah. So I took, when you said I don't think that's going to work, I took it as you doubting his talent. So to me, we had always, again, because the first time we worked together, a lot of people were, people say hate, and it's like whatever. Terrell was getting real hate the first time we worked together, right? But the hate was like, he's not the best lyricist kind of thing. So what I did was, maybe he's not, right? But his ability to make hooks, and I'll say that now because I don't really care. His ability to make hooks and melody
I agree with
has always been on point.
Yes.
So even if you don't agree with the lyricism, the melody and the hooks are going to always be there, which will always pretty much work on radio, and it'll always work with a female demo, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, and even now with a lot of artists are living on melody and hooks anyway, right? Yeah. So I just kind of feel like if that's already the trend now and it was working then, and he's even gotten better at lyricism now. I think he's a better lyricist now.
I agree.
Why would it not work if the formula worked the first? Maybe we need to tweak some things because Instagram exists now and Twitter exists, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But it worked the first time. So as long as I'm willing to grow and evolve in the strategy, why would it not work again? Like it worked the first time. We got radio. We got a radio rotation this time. You know.
I wish we would have had the conversation before, man. But it's probably even better now. I'm gonna tell you what I thought with Terrell. First off, I'm gonna start on the good side, on the high end. I think his work ethic it speaks for itself because
absolutely
the brothers out here moving product, you know, shirts, cups, whatever the case is. I mean, I have one of the red. I got first off, it was a quality cup. You know, it's a quality cup, and the merchandise, from what I've seen and touched, material-wise, is quality.
Yeah.
All that's quality. I think that's quality. I think you're quality. I think that I agree with you on the hooks. I agree with you on all of that. I agree that I think his lyricism has gotten much better because I went back and I studied. I listened to people's music. I went back and looked at the beginning and watched it cross. So all of that I give you. I think when I said I didn't think, when I said what I said, what I was looking at is, it's really respectfully more of a testament to you in a respectful way, because you're right because I think that talent is one thing, and he has talent.
He has talent.
What I think makes Terrell, and for real, man, respect to Terrell, because this is all great marketing if he decides to check out his app. But what I think makes Terrell,
he'll use it, yeah.
But what I think makes Terrell, I looked at Terrell and I stopped looking at him as an artist. I started looking at him as a brand. And so I think that I think his Red Cup movement foundation is of substantial quality material,
absolutely.
quality product. He has quality work ethic. If I was gonna say what I think could make it work, look, it ain't that it can't work. What it is at the speed that he won't, or that you won't, or that the world is saying, hey, I want to give you money for your product, right? That's not, when we talk about what worked, I'm talking about that. Timing is everything, right? I think that the Red Cup movement, you put, like, from a branding standpoint, you put a college age kid, a younger person, and let Terrell be something in the mix, but you put him in front. The reason why is because when I think about Red Cup, I think about college. I think about beer pong. I think about a lot of things, and so I think he's a little bit
aged out of the demo.
A little bit, yeah. So
I listen.
That's the most. That's probably it more than anything, because I felt like, or just stick to because the clothing is dope. I still would buy some. I want some of the clothing.
Yeah.
He his value is high on his, you know what I'm saying? But
hey, man.
Hey, well, no one's gonna value you more than yourself.
Absolutely.
You know.
So I'll say this, right? So in response to that, again, remember I said this is the second time we worked together. The first time was, I can't remember the exact, maybe 2012 or something like that. And I might be off by a year or two, I think, or whatever. So if you're talking about what, like 10 years ago or whatever, however many years ago, obviously he was younger. This would have worked better then, right?
Yeah.
So now the antithesis of the thing still works. The core philosophy still works. Red Cup is about, working hard and playing harder. That's a philosophy. Me and Terrell have talked a lot about that, right? And so I think Terrell has the ability through the brand, maybe not even through him, but the philosophy of Red Cup, it can reach back to college kids because you drinking a Red Cup right now, right? So that's not even marketing. You just happen to do that. I got a Red Cup too. This don't even have nothing to do with Terrell, but the symbolizing a Red Cup is like, for a college kid, like, that's just what they do, right?
Yeah.
But now that he's older, I was already looking at it like, how do I tweak this so it don't feel so time capsule, right? So we know we can reach back and get the college kids, which is why we did the promo tour during the pandemic. We went to college campuses on that tour.
Yeah.
But in the other way, marketing wise, it's like the Red Cup can symbolize how you were living in the past, in the evolution in your growth. So I started here, but I'm there. So if I started there when I was in college and now I'm a young Black businessman, from when I started, it was me and my friends hanging out. I'm holding on to a cup to symbolize growth and evolution and having fun, right? Like working hard and playing harder. The working hard, playing harder still applies now.
Yeah.
It's just more structured.
Yeah.
Just to clarify what you were saying, not to necessarily rebuttal, because I'm not even with the team no more. But you know what I'm saying? Like marketing wise, I already was thinking about how to.
So we really saying the same thing then.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying it would have still worked. I would have made sure it worked. It was working.
Yeah, I mean,
you know
I think that's it. I think so. I feel like we're saying the same thing. I think that what I saw then, and what you knew that what you were doing or intending to do or focus is probably part of why I'm assuming that y'all not working together right now. It's just because
I don't know.
I'm assuming. I mean, let me tell you what. Without even knowing, I think that's what it comes down to when you're working with a lot of creative people, and we all are creatives. You know what I'm saying? And alphas, and so it's like at the end of the day, it's the difference between. All I'm saying is that his music, probably his writing, paired up with additional members of the team. Like if he had a street crew of Red Cup gang, younger folks, college kids, boom, boom, and you show his evolution because he's been rapping for a minute.
Yeah,
that's it, and it ain't that's it. Now I probably should.
Well, listen, and I know you probably want to transition to the next topic, but I'll say this right. Really, just to document this, but also to answer your question, right? Again, strategy-wise, I was already there. Me and him had conversations about, hey, this will expand better if we make sure that you have some brand ambassadors. I said this to him. This was months ago. You need to have brand ambassadors so you're not the only one representing Red Cup. So if you get a skateboarder or a surfer, because he's in San Diego, like they can represent you on that way, meaning if they're younger in the actual demo and they rocking Red Cup gang, we're touching that demo. We talked about military because San Diego is a big military town, but so is Hampton Roads. You know what I'm saying? So you can be, and I told him this, you can be a bi-coastal thing because skateboarding and surfboarding is kin to both markets. So you can be a bi-coastal marketing, branding thing, right? Between college campuses, skateboarders, surfboarders, and military personnel. Those are really good markets to tap into to keep it youthful, but also with you, the business side. So you can show the evolution, the growth of this is what it looks like when you evolve and you put your shirt and your tie on. But like the military, big presence in both markets. We need to tap into that. Surfers, both markets, let's do that. Skateboarders, youth, let's do that. Yeah. So there was a plan in place, and he started, moving it. I think he does still have some brand ambassadors for Red Cup Gang right now. So there was some thought behind how we should do this to make sure that wasn't like, isn't he too old to be kind of doing da-da-da? Believe me, I was thinking about it.
Hey, how do you think he'll respond to this conversation? How do you think? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, either he's not going to say anything or he's going to chop up these pieces, like you said, and use it for marketing and promo because he's not, stupid or nothing. Like, like he may very well see this and smirk and chop it up and use this as promo on his channels, or it may be a phone call coming my way. Any of those three options are okay with me. But let me say the first two because I don't really care about actually talking to him, to be completely honest with you. If I'm just being honest.
Hey, but I will say this though. I will definitely close it positive. Out of respect is that I don't feel like I said anything. Look, this is content.
Yeah.
Bad. I think because honestly, I've edified the fact that I think his music has grown and I think he's everything I've seen is quality. And in real talk, I would buy the clothing. I want some for real. I wouldn't mind getting some jogging suits and shit. But I guess the way I close it up and say it though is that the work ethic, everything is impeccable. What we're talking about and what we've been talking about, and part of the positions we play, is that we're trying to evolve conversation. We trying to evolve the culture. You know what I'm saying? We trying to see people evolve. Because as we do it, regardless of people like what they hear or not, conversation, everything all progress can start with the conversation. And conversation, it moves the culture as well, just like music. So, you know, a lot of artists, you know, sometimes they're not receptive to the feedback, but at the same time, we contribute to why people are consuming your music, listening to you, and, you know, anyway, we can move on to that.
Yeah, and I'll close it out. I'll say this. Everybody needs to start understanding that the people that are a part of your team, especially whether you have a team or you don't, you need to make sure that you are respecting the people that can become a part of your team or who are a part of your team. A lot of times, they're the people that are going to make sure that you don't burn yourself out, that all the great ideas come to the table, that all the bad ideas get vetted out of the situation, that when everything needs to get done, that certain things can get delegated so all the work can get done in an efficient manner. When you start picking away at that, right, or abusing that or not respecting that, and you find yourself alone or you find yourself with less help, you will really understand how hard it is to do it on your own. So I never, you know, again, I'm never going to talk bad about him. But again, let's put this in context. Remember, I worked with him before, and at some point, however it happened, he had to find somebody to call me and contact me to have a conversation to repair the relationship with me so we could get this thing started again. And you see what happened when we got next to it. And now you ask me, are we still working together? And we're not. So let's just put that timetable in perspective. And again, I'm not going to say nothing negative, but I've worked with him twice. And both times I worked with him, I got him to a certain place. Whether you want to attribute that just to me or not, you shouldn't, because it was definitely with the help of Dark Knight as a team. But I'll leave it right there.
And yo, while we at it, man, bro, you work with some people. I mean, let's just make sure we clear with it. You know,
be clear. Let's be clear.
And I said, and everything I've said, and what I said then was never. I got the impression that he probably wasn't too fond of me. That was an impression I got. He may have heard my feedback. I don't know. But honestly, I still got respect for him. You know, I mean, for what I respect anybody who work hard. I respect anybody who work hard. I think what it comes down to, and this is more for my audience or people who's interested in, you know how it is when you pod, man. You get the, like, how can I be on your show type of conversation? Like, I'm gonna stop with the BS, man. Like, if I learn about you and I dig you and like it's a good conversation, I'm gonna talk to you. If people want to hear from you, then I want to talk to you. And if I want to talk to you, I want to talk to you. But at the end of the day, I'm so busy in life with talking about a lot of other things that contribute to how I take care of my family. That it's all about timing and how it fits into that, you know. And so share that for people, because a lot of people be on me, bro, about, you know, why we haven't had a conversation. I appreciate it and take it as respect for sure. I really do. But when it comes to talking to artists, particularly about music, there just has to, for me, where I'm at in my life, there has to be a lot to talk about around the music, so that your music, you know, it has to be a lot there. And quite frankly, this platform is based around having conversation with people who really are good at having conversations. So like, if your music is good and your conversation it's challenging for me, you know.
No, listen, and I get that, and I'll say this, a conversation was had, right, just to button up the topic, right, about Terrell. A conversation was had with, again, the comment that you made, right, because we talked about everything, respect. And the consensus was, listen, man, we're not going to worry about that. If that's how he feels, that's how he feels. We got work to do, Terrell. Like, don't worry about it. Because I think honestly, I think he took it personal that you said what you said, right? But I told him, yo, don't worry about it. That's how he feels. What we're going to do is we're going to prove everybody wrong. That's it. So it wasn't about F you or none of that really got said, to be honest with you. It was more a thing of, and I was honest. I told you, I felt like I was being questioned, even though you were saying something about him, because I'm next to him. I don't want anybody I'm next to be questioned, right? And that's not an ego thing. That's a damn. I put in all this work, and if I'm standing next to somebody, that means it's gonna work because I'm gonna make
but
sure
that's
it works.
personal. That's personalization versus professionalization.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. But I'm also gonna use it
You're
as
human.
energy and motivation.
Yeah.
So my job is to manage expectations. So hey, Terrell, don't worry about that. We still got all this stuff to do. We can't personalize this. Let's knock out all this stuff, and at some point, it might circle around. But we're not gonna worry about that because if you harp on that every day, then we're not gonna get all the stuff done. You still got to do all the stuff, whether he feels that way or not.
Yeah.
So it was like that conversation, then we moved on, bro. So it wasn't even like a,
you know what?
you know
For
what
me, to me, I take it all as respect. I take it all as respect, and because I appreciate anybody who has an interest in wanting to be on the platform. Quite frankly, I respect anyone who wants to have a conversation with me. Because you could be talking to a lot of other people and spending a lot of time doing a lot of other things to get your message across. Yeah. And I think I've made it clear that I have respect for him and people. So it is what it is. I mean, for real.
Yeah, it's all good, bro.
Hey, for real, if Terrell, if you hear this, it's an introduction to have a conversation now, for sure, because it's like it makes good conversation. This is good conversation.
And let's be clear, that's how you know, hopefully that's how everybody knows the kind of person I am. Whether I'm working with you or not, and it really kind of depends on how you leave things off or how I feel about you. Again, things didn't end off the best way, right?
Yeah.
But what I'll never say is, like I told you, I was honest about everything in reference to him. Hooks and melody, A1 and still getting better. Lyricism, definitely getting better. Work ethic is the main reason that I have respect for him.
Yeah.
Nobody's been as close or maybe had more work ethic than me than him. So from that aspect, somebody wanting to fight for their dream so much, I don't know if I've ever met anybody.
Yeah.
Well, who came from the bottom. I mean, he was homeless in Cali for a little bit before he got on his feet, hustled his CDs, to have the money to call me, to pay me for a proposal, which turned into, hey, Bat, let's fix our relationship so we can make another run of this. So his work ethic is second to none. I don't know if I've ever met an independent artist who has the same work ethic as Terrell. Now, if you asking me about other specific things, maybe there may be different answers, but I'm never going to say that he doesn't have talent or he doesn't have a strong work ethic.
Yo, I want to say this, though. Hey, I want to say this. Tyler Donovan, I think he got a lot of it, though. He got a lot of things, man. I agree with you.
That boy's special.
The brother can perform sitting down better. You know, shout out to him, man. He's also highly respected within the Richmond lyricism community. He's rocked with he's been in the Broadberry for the annual
did the Radio B joint
put down. You know what I'm saying? Flag on the Moon. That's what it is. Flag on the Moon. He was
absolutely
Flag on the Moon. So I rock with Tyler Donovan. Tyler, you definitely can come on the show. I rock with Tyler Donovan, man, because he got talent. He got talent, man, and I mean, honest with you, he's marketable too, for real. He's marketable. Yeah. He's extremely marketable.
I mean, I'll say this for Tyler. Tyler is all about being genuine. He's authentic to his core. Like I said, he's raised in a church atmosphere. Like I can't even schedule things on Thursday night because he has a recurring choir practice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's going to attend church on Sunday. He's going to go to church rehearsal, choir rehearsal on Thursday. And so whatever happens, like it's got to be outside of this.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good.
So listen, for me,
discipline.
It's super important to me that before even the talent, I ask the question to people who are on my team or clients that I pick up, are you a good person? That's the first question, bro. Are you a good person? Because I'm not trying to help nobody who has ill intent or is going to use their money, influence, or fame in a way other than helping themselves and their families and their communities. I'm not even for none of that right now. Not in this point in my life, like you were saying, in this point in my life.
Yeah, this is.
But Tyler has a message, bro. Tyler has a message. Like I said, he deals with mental health and anxiety and depression, just like everybody else in the world, right? But past all that, he has this way of delivering it through his pen, right? Through the music. And he's a rapper and a singer and a producer and a live performer, and he does all of them on a high level. How could I not support that in good conscience, bro?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And he has he has subject content that matters,
That matters.
So shout out to you, Tyler. Yo, I gotta wrap up and close here, man. I don't want to.
What you got, bro? Rapid fire them, James. Let's go.
Well, let me go ahead and hit you with it. I'm gonna rapid fire out 12 questions because that's
Let's get it.
My mind. I want
that's what I'm here for. Let's get it.
Quick, immediate, impulsive responses with little thought.
Let's go. I'm with it. Let's go.
Challenge it for an intentional brother, though. So you got to just come off, right? So, okay. You tapped in. You tapped in Norfolk.
Yeah. The whole time
from a community standpoint.
Yeah, I would say that.
I'm curious. I got a political / community question for you. You may not be able to answer this one. If you can't, you don't have to. We'll move on to something that you.
I'll be honest. I'm gonna be honest regardless. Let's go.
Have you been following? You following the brother Mike Muhammad?
Yes, I know of Michael Muhammad. Yes.
Have you kind of followed some of the trials and tribulations that he's kind of been up against with the Norfolk City office, particularly the mayor?
I don't follow them closely. You hear things here and there. What are you referring to specifically, sir?
This brought the media trade, first of all.
Listen, come on, man.
No, it's just that, I mean, it just seems, from an observation standpoint, as a critic, and kind of assessing the content that I came, his views is that the Norfolk City is corrupt. That's basically the message. And I'm curious from your perspective because you have awareness and foundation of what's going on the political and on the community street side. Curious from their perspective.
Listen, I'll say this, but this is rapid fire, right? So I'll say this. One, I don't know if there is any government that is completely without flaw. Let me say that. All of the cities in the Sunflower Southern and Virginia as a whole, and all the states for that matter, there are things that can be improved and could be done better. There could be better transparency, more helping people, all that kind of stuff. If you are hearing about certain things that Michael Muhammad is saying down here, and you have a question about them because of the messenger, then I think it's fair to question both sides. Does that answer your question?
No. Well, my question is not so much because of the messenger. I think that.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, because I gotta make sure I'm clear there. Like, I've had Mike on the show. I think he has great conversation, and I think he has lots of life experience that contributes. I mean, he's worked under the Honorable Louis Farrakhan for 15 years in his career as a teacher, as an educator. So you can't discredit his knowledge by any means. His perspective is his own. I look at his perspective, and I ask myself, particularly because I've seen him run for political office, and I've seen him in leadership capacities, and I say, if Mike Muhammad feels this way, I'm assuming that he represents on behalf of a lot of other people who feel that way. When I see these meetings in City Hall and I hear him speak, there's people in there that's there to listen to him speak and probably feel the same way he do. But you don't hear. But see, the city, the politics, the public don't really respond publicly on these matters because they're not going to give the attention to an individual or, quite frankly, a small subculture of the community. So you only hear what you hear. That's why I go to the people in the community and I say, hey, can anyone else speak out on behalf of this matter? And I come to you because we're talking about it. Like, I'm interested in
okay. So, and I'm not trying to be vague. So here's my definitive answer on that. We have to, this Norfolk, this whatever, we have to stop putting all our faith in any one person anyway, myself included. If you see Michael or any of us speaking at a town hall or a city council meeting or whatever, I already feel like everybody should be attending all the city council meetings, all the civic league meetings, all of that. there's already a problem with there not being high attendance at this stuff. Like I spoke to earlier, they are bringing up stuff, they are passing stuff, they are funding stuff, whether it's over the radar and very public or under the radar that it's happening fast, and then you find about it in the news later on. You already wrong if you finding out on the back end, however you find out about it. And I don't care whoever says whatever about how I'm saying that, you already wrong if you find it out on the back end, right? Because these are decisions that are being made without your input, without your knowledge. But there is opportunity for you to be there in real time to get the information in real time. So if you need to speak up on it, you can be there to voice your opinion, or shortly after organize to march and organize and speak against it, shortly in real, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't, oh man, I can't believe there's a casino coming and da-da-da-da. Like, if you are against the casino and the negative effects it may have on the community, you got to speak on it before the funding and the approvals and all that stuff happen. There's chance and opportunity to do that, but you can't come in on the back end and have all these strong opinions. And I'm not talking about you, but you can't have all these strong opinions on the back end after everything has happened, the entire political process happened, if you just checking the news every night or reading the paper every other day kind of thing. We have to start making the political process a lifestyle.
Yeah.
These people are doing stuff every day that have to do with us. We have to be involved all the time, if for no other reason, to hold them accountable and be informed of what's happening. There's other people getting money that our community desperately needs, that other people are lobbying for all the time. We need to be in that all the time flow so we can get the all the time funding for every year. And if we're not, vote in people who will do so. So it ain't just about voting. It's about organizing, marching, voting, and holding the people we vote into office accountable. It's the entire thing, all year, every year. It can't be when you choose the whatever, but you feel bad or you feel away. Nobody cares about if you feel away if you're not going to vote. They care about the vote. I don't care what anybody says. They're going to do whatever who can vote them in or out of office is telling them to do. That's how the whole thing works. That's my answer.
Good. Rapid fire number one. We got 11
Let's get it.
We got 11 more to go. I go back across the bridge. I forget the brother's last name.
Mm-hmm.
It was Paul. He runs a basketball league that keeps kids off the street.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Zulove on IG.
Say it again. His name is what? Zulove?
On IG is Zulove. It's Paul in real life.
Okay.
I can take his last name in a minute, but I'll bring his name.
What city is this?
Huh?
What city?
I think he's from Newport News, Hampton area.
Okay. I mean, I never heard of him, but Hampton Newport News is, that's my hood. So
yeah, the reason why I'm dropping his name because when it comes to community, he's someone that we're familiar with very well here in the Richmond area. Paul Taylor.
Never heard of him, but yeah, tell me more. I want to answer this question. Let's get it.
Hey, I can't ask a question because you're not familiar with him. I drop it as a jewel. I drop it as a jewel. But no, Paul's a good brother though, and Paul is very, very much involved with the community. And because that's your home, I just feel like that's someone that you should know.
Okay. So I mean, listen, maybe you can be the one to connect us. I'm all for, huh?
More than happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm more for connecting, especially again with what you heard that I'm planning and all that kind of. I want to connect with anybody doing good.
Hey, you got it, yeah. Because first off, he got a basketball league that keeps kids off the street. I know he does it here in the Richmond. He has a story. He has an amazing story. Y'all go check it out on my podcast. It's in the 30s. Go check him out. Dope story. He Governor McDonald, I think, pardoned him and freed him after 20 years. Him and Allen Iverson are like that. He does a lot for the community. Phenomenal story.
Okay.
Just check him out.
Yeah. Please connect us, bro. Like straight up. Yeah.
All right. So I want to drop some names because I just want your rapid fire responses about these.
Let's go.
Well, before I go artists, what is going to happen with? What's your view on Hairwave in the next year? What do you see happening different? Your perspective, Batman.
Okay, so first off, it's pronounced airwave. Everybody needs to understand airwave. So it's air as in heir to the throne, but also airwave as in radio.
Gotcha.
That's one. What I see happening, I think once Pusha comes back from tour, I think you're going to see him trying to structure this in a real way that we actually see these artists being developed in a real and meaningful way. I mean, Shaolin is already making a lot of dope moves, who's to me the flagship artist of Airwave, but they got a lot of artists in the chamber. Why not do some others? And I know one of my really good friends is like the running point over there, Airwave. Her name is Keena Carson. She also is what's his name? Kevin Ross's manager, right? And so Keena I've known for a long time. She comes from doing street team for the Interscope street team here in Virginia. So she has a background in PR and all this kind of stuff. And my guy Colt, who's an A&R, and some other people. Like Push has some good people over there. So I think again, once Pusha finishes this tour and closes out his album cycle and all of that, I think you're gonna see an increased level of attentiveness to making sure that these artists are able to level up. And what Push always says is creating a chitlin circuit for artists to not only be able to do all these different markets and make money off of shows, but artist development within the label and probably finding some new artists. Like again, I think Push's heart and mind is in the right place. I think we got to give it time, man. We got to give it time, but I think he's heading in the right direction. Let's give it some time.
Got you. Question number 3. When I say the name Orlando Jackson, the artist that I'm familiar with just based off, my studies and education. Getting studied, I like what I see. Have you worked with him? What's your take on him?
I have not worked with Orlando Jackson. I think we have, if I remember correctly, me and Orlando do have a lot of like mutual people like in common. I haven't worked with him directly. I do think he's a good storyteller from what I've seen in the music and all of that kind of stuff. There's definitely quality in the music that I feel like he's making. He's been on the scene for a little while, so I am equally waiting to see what that breakout moment is for him. But again, as somebody who is a marketing based person, I can almost see from a distance, and this is in general, this is not even to Orlando, I can see from a distance what I think needs to happen for something to kind of move forward, right? And so there are certain artists where I'm ready for that thing to click that brings it all together for there to be the breakthrough, because it got to click first before the breakthrough. I am eagerly awaiting for that breakthrough for him, because I think he has all the gifts to take it all away. It's just a matter of what's going to be the thing to get him there.
4, what could that be for an artist like Pretty Boy?
Pretty Boy, you talking about that from down here, right?
He's from Norfolk.
You
know what I'm talking about?
I think so. I think if we're talking about the same Pretty Boy, he's actually managed by a friend of mine, Curtis Bowen. If we're talking about the same Curtis,
right. That's him.
Yeah. Me and Kurt go back like a long time. Pretty Boy, I don't know a whole bunch about him. He definitely seems to be super talented.
Yeah,
I know Curtis has been like developing him for a while, and I've seen him do different things and this and that, but I hadn't kept my eye all the way on him. I mean, I think it's similar. I think having somebody like Kurt is never going to help your case. Like Kurt, I think is a really good salesman. He has a really good ear. He has a really good taste level. So even having somebody like that with somebody who's already innately gifted, like Pretty Boy, I wouldn't definitely not count them out. Again, I don't know what is going to be the thing that makes him break through, but I think he has a really good start. I'll say that. I can't really speak on any more than that, to be honest. But I don't know enough about the situation.
What I like that I see similar to how you and Terrell moved. I've seen them move similarly because he getting paid as just sing Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I rock with him. I think he's a talent.
I mean, sometimes starting from the ground level is the best thing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they start from the ground level, but like finding your niche and like kind of leaning into it. Like,
I mean, he had a break moment. He had a break moment where he performed on stage with Teddy Riley, and he did a Prince imitation. So I mean, that's how I really first became familiar.
I'm sure that's for Kurt, because Kurt has a lot of relationships in the industry going back 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah. And I know that about Kurt. So that's good on him for connecting the dots. That's what a good facilitator would do.
Yeah. Chicken or fish?
Oh, chicken. I mean, I love seafood, but I'm my default is probably chicken anyway. So there you go.
Childhood crush, celebrity childhood crush.
Shit. Either probably Halle Berry. Probably Halle Berry.
Gotcha.
That's the one that jumps out.
7. Do you feel like Youngkin is getting a fair shot from the Black community?
A fair shot?
maybe I shouldn't use the word fair. I don't know if fair is the right word. Let
fair
me
is probably not the
reverse
right
it.
word.
Do you feel like Youngkin is doing anything in office that will positively contribute to helping the Black community?
I think honestly, I think he is a really good politician. I think he does a lot of things to seem like he is open to having conversations. I know when I was in the room, I literally asked the last question at his town hall, his private invite only town hall, and I felt like he listened to me in the room, but I also think that can be dangerous because what I asked about was, environmental issues. And then shortly after that, he was trying to pull Virginia out of RGGI, the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. And so I think he's really good at playing the politics game, and then he's going to still do his own agenda. I think that's almost even more dangerous than like a Trump, because Trump is just going to tell you how he feels in real time. Youngkin is going to make sure that he shakes hands, kiss babies, say what he needs to say in public, and then whatever he really is trying to do, that agenda is never going to change. So whatever he's trying to get past, he's making the moves now. That's why you see him kind of moving very, very fast in, less than a year of him being in office kind of stuff.
Good. I think that's a great answer. Great answer.
Hey, man.
We got 5 more questions here, man.
Let's go. I'm ready. Let's go.
5 more questions. If LeBron, I've been watching this in sports media lately. When Bronny James gets to the NBA, because LeBron's doing a great job right now at low-key
controlling the narrative.
God,
controlling the narrative.
Crazy. I know you are, so I know you're watching. Because basically he made the comment that, he ain't saying anything, but he desires to play at least 1 year with Bronny James.
On the Lakers.
You think it's going to be the Lakers?
I think so.
So you're basically saying that regardless of how well the Lakers possibly do, that they could, how do you see that happening though? Like, that means Bronny is not going to be an early draft pick, which he may not be. We don't know.
Well, I'll put it like this. I feel like LeBron has enough leverage to get his son to play on whatever team he is going to be on when his son is eligible to be in the league. Let me say that. Is that a good answer? If some trades got to happen, if he's on the Lakers, some trades got to happen and some extra, we got to throw 8 people over there to get one part. Like, however we got to do this, it's going to happen. If LeBron go to another team that is lower, ranked lower, then that's probably be even better to make.
I'm not going to even. I'm not even going to add. I'm still got 3 more, and I'm not going to.
Let's go.
I'm not going to count this one though.
Let's go.
Who do you see winning the championship in the NBA? Who do you think is the front runner? Will Golden State repeat, or will somebody else? Does John Wall coming to the Clippers make the Clippers a contender? What do you see happen? Does Kyrie? What do you think happens?
Listen, I think Golden State has a really, really good chance. If I had to put money, it would probably, I would probably put it on them. I don't know. Let's see what the Celtics do. I don't know. Like, maybe the Clippers. The Heat, maybe. I don't know. Like,
it's hard to say, man, because Denver,
it's hard to say.
Denver, in my opinion, could get good if Murray comes back and things gel well. It's hard to say.
Aren't people still signing contracts? Like, where we at?
Are we done with contracts? As far as I'm concerned, Kyrie and Kevin gonna be back in Brooklyn, though.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. I can't really have a definitive answer until all the money has been finished exchanging hands, bro. That's where I'm at with it. Yeah. Like, let's see where everybody actually lands first. When can't nobody make no more trades and we locked in, gotcha. Then I probably have a better answer for you, bro.
Gotcha. Who's the most slept on artist in Virginia?
Oh, now that's a question. Who's the most slept on artist? Wow, that's actually an amazing question. The most slept on artist. Damn. I'm not even sure if I can answer that question. Who's the most slept on artist?
That's hard.
Slept on. Can you clarify slept on?
It's not a fair question. It's really not.
That's relative.
Let me ask it differently.
Okay.
You gotta put it in a positive way. Who's an artist?
Slept on is relative, bro.
It's relevant. It's very
No,
relevant.
I said it's relative because somebody can get some radio spins or done some shows and still technically be slept on. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how they got the shows and the spins.
I guess let me reverse and just say, who's someone that you feel like we should be paying a lot of attention to then?
Okay, I would say I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give you one from the 804, and I'm gonna give you a couple from the 757.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody in Richmond really should be paying attention to my guy Mikey Amore in Richmond.
Who?
Mikey Amore, Amore. Okay. Make sure you are paying attention to Mikey Amore. I'll give you another one. My guy Trez Hopkins. Trez Hopkins is one of the best lyricists I've ever heard in my life, and I always say that. Trez Hopkins and Mikey Amore in Richmond. Imani Blair too. Don't sleep on Imani Blair, please. For the love of everything sacred, do not sleep on Imani Blair. She has so much potential, and she has the willingness and the work ethic to get where she's trying to go. Those are the three I'm gonna give you from 804. 757, I'd say, I would say, Paige Joyner. Paige Joyner is a good one.
I might need you. I might need you to send me these if I mess up.
Whatever you need, bro. Paige Joyner for one. I would say Era Hardaway. Era Hardaway is another one.
I learned about him through the RVA Rap Elite platform. He's out of Fredericksburg.
Listen, man. Yeah. Era, I think Era is our Nipsey.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to him and you hear him rap, same demeanor, same personality, almost like very thoughtful individual, like really cares about his craft, cares about how he's writing his bars, all that kind of stuff. Really wants the best for himself, his crew, and he wants the best for the music scene in Virginia. Another one for the 804 that I can't even. But Slim Cartel, I think, is our 2 Chainz. These are clippable, by the way. So go ahead and
for sure.
I'm saying it again. Slim, and I've told him this to his face. Slim Cartel is our 2 Chainz, and I can say that because I actually know 2 Chainz.
Yeah.
So y'all take that for what it's worth. Oh, another one. Skinny Hendrix is our Wiz Khalifa. Mm-hmm. He from your area. He from the 804.
Yeah.
Skinny Hendrix is a yeah. 757 Bobby Blaze. Bobby Blaze.
Yeah, we definitely
Bobby Blaze. Who got now in the 757? Like, you want to talk about a kid with talent and drive and personality? Who? And then everybody from the Rebel E crew, from Benny Del Sol to Rye Whitmore, who just moved to Cali, to obviously Sonny and Gabe. Like, Gabe is the Pharrell of our area. Sonny Moonshine is, one of the best, I think, vocalists out. And, Tyler Donovan and Tajay, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
One of my favorite artists from that era is Intellect.
Oh, my God. See, Intellect is my guy. Intellect is an elder statesman. So, hey, artists, wherever you from, go have a conversation with Intellect. Go just research his YouTube and his music. And like, Intellect is like a master class on how to be a respectable, thoughtful MC. I love Intellect. That's my guy. And I'm so happy for everything that he's doing, and he's going to continue growing because he understands what he's doing. And, he cares about how this goes. So, yeah, man.
Appreciate you dropping those names. We got 2 more questions. Here.
Yeah.
Next question is, well, I got to ask this one.
Come on.
I'm going to cheat.
Ask whatever.
I'm going to cheat with the last one. What can we, you've kind of you've already kind of told us that one. No, I can't even ask. I don't want to do that because you already kind of told us what was coming. You already told us what you got coming on. So I don't want to. That's really only
music meeting to help control our own narrative as not only 757, but hopefully to lead to control our narrative as Virginia. I just signed on yesterday to help with programming for Africana Fest that's happening in Virginia Beach, Oceanfront, October 8th and 9th, right? Tyler Donovan. I'm working with the artist Tajay. Everything I'm doing with CCAN, Chesapeake Climate Action Network. And listen, I'm going to be bringing different platforms on the back end of this meeting. So Music Mondays, excuse me, Mix Show Mondays. It's something I got from my guy Nick Love in Atlanta. Shout out to Nick Love. He works for 1 RPM, which is a record label down there. Mix Show Mondays is something that he brought to life in Atlanta. It's basically the format of DJs being in the room on Mondays, having fellowship with each other, artists signing up to play their music, and the DJs in the room give their feedback on the records, so the artists know what records to put their money behind versus their ego telling them this is the right single. No, no, no. That third record you played is actually the single that we would support. You get what I'm saying?
I got you. I got you.
And I don't really talk about this stuff because, you know, copying and all that, but I'm not even in that space no more, bro. It's not about copying or this, that, and the third. It's more about making sure that we have legitimate platforms like I talked about before, just to help artists.
Yeah.
So it's going to be free to get in. It's going to be on Mondays. It's going to be for DJs to have fellowship. We'll play for the first round, but we want to make sure that the DJs are in the building so we can make sure the artists can have a sounding board to make sure they are vetting their records correctly before they start spending any kind of money to get support on the records.
Got you.
I'm talking about building everything intentional,
Yeah.
like you said, intentionality. That's where we at right now with it.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. 2 questions, and then I gotta hit the bathroom. Oh, I drank a whole.
Let's get it.
I drank a whole gallon of water.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go.
This is a 2-part question. Depending on how you answer it, I'll extend it. Are you in a relationship?
Oh, I thought there was more to that. Yes, I'm in a relationship.
It is.
Yes. I'm in a relationship right now. Her name is Marquita Bianca. She literally just called my phone just now. So I'm gonna call her back after we're done with this engaging interview, sir.
How important is family to you?
Oh, family is incredibly important. Me and MB, as I call her affectionately, are driving up to Richmond to see my sister and her husband, and the drive down to Georgetown, South Carolina, to be with my mother's side of the family for a cousins retreat. Family's incredibly important. They've been so, helpful in allowing me the space to kind of follow my dreams that, when I have the time, I want to make sure that it's quality time and that I do whatever I need to do to start emerging as a leader in the family as well, because I want to make sure my family's going in the right direction. And I'm not always going to get it right, but I'm going to try to start putting as much energy into my family as I do in everything else, which I think everybody should be doing. You know what I'm saying? Family is key.
Yo, I hope you like how I asked that question, because it could have went right or left. I could have opened the DMs up, but brother, listen, ladies, relax. Relax. He's a family man. All right. So
yeah,
great answer. Last question. Selfish question. Let people know who have consumed this content why they should continue listening to the Randy Wilson podcast.
Okay, cool. So what I like is, you definitely made sure to ask questions that while some of them would be the standard questions that you need to ask, you also ask some very thought-provoking questions as well. You let me get my full thought out. You expanded where you needed to. You moved on when you needed to. This was an important conversation. And from everything I know about you, you try to have a variety of guests that are going to be entertaining, but also informative. We need every legitimate platform that we possibly can get in Virginia as a state. Again, controlling the narrative. So things like what you do help move us forward. So if you do what you do and other people that have podcasts do what they do, radio does what they do, and then artists do what they do, and then I do what I do, all of that together will move us forward. I can't do what I do without people like you doing what you do to cover the artists and the people who matter to amplify their messaging, right? And it goes both ways. So we all need each other, whether we understand it or not. And so it's important that you continue to be encouraged and empowered to do what you do, because you play a role just like I play a role, just like Push play a role, just like Pharrell play a role. None of the roles are more important than the other. We're all going to be important to move Virginia and DMV forward the way that we want to moving into the future.
Brother, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. I drank a whole gallon of water talking to you. I'm about to bust. You know what I'm saying? But this is a much long overdue conversation.
And I was drinking this the whole time. How you feel about that? That's another.
Hey, I was going to, but I'm committed to no drinking and driving right now, considering
I'm at home, all good.
But no doubt, for real, an overdue conversation, not the last conversation that I want to have on a platform.
Yeah. Let's do it twice a year. I'm with it. Let's go.
Yeah, let's continue to make it happen. Thank you guys for tuning in. Regardless if you captured a whole piece or if you took what mattered to you the most, share it, comment, critique, do whatever you want to do, but just continue to move the culture forward and be positive. This is episode 105, Randy Wilson Podcast, powered by Spin 100 FM, and we out.
I'm going to do it the right way.
There he goes. VA all day. It's Batman.
Let's go. Respect, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.